I go on, David. I'll go in a minute. Go on, mate.
Uh, you don't look at the manager for this as well, though, Jamie. I mean, we have conversations here. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
You don't think it's the manager's responsibility to know, okay, I know Salah, he doesn't like being benched. Have a conversation with the guy. And we're not privy to these conversations. Yeah. Maybe he
Yeah.
has had a conversation and that conversation went absolutely awful. We
Maybe.
don't know how that's gone. And
Maybe.
that conversation could have been, listen, mate, you've been awful this year. Salah's thinking, hang on a minute, I was sensational for you last year. Can't you just back me a little bit here? No, you're benching and listen, I'm preparing for life with you going to AFCON. I'm preparing for life with you maybe in the future. So you're going to have to accept this bit part role. And I'm not saying Dutch people or Dutch managers are like this, but they're very matter of fact. This is what it is. And maybe Salah didn't digest it correctly. He didn't like it. That's got to be on slot too. We're not privy to the conversations, like I just said. But I defo think there's been a conversation there and it's just gone boom.
So Go on, Jamie.
My thing is, right, I understand. And the thing is, I don't like talking about what's being said in the dressing room, things like that, because we don't know what's being said. We don't know how they're communicating to one another. Last season, Salah said he had a great relationship with Slot. He comes out and says that Slot comes in, he goes, I'm going to get everything I can to get out of you, and I need you when those moments come to deliver, right? Salah this season, just as you said, he has those big chances, he has those underlying numbers, and he's not delivering. So if he's not delivering, what else do you expect the manager to do? Just to continue to play, being on that right side, to have no way of being able to press, deliver in terms. So you're not delivering the big moments. You can't press on the ball.
Is Gakpo delivering?
So, yeah, but that's a by the by.
I know, Terry, but that's contributing to how Salah's feeling, right?
Yes, but this is what it comes down to, right? And I think it shows. And we're just having conversations here. I view it through this lens. I tweeted something Saturday evening where I said I feel sorry for Salah, but I don't agree with going public. The more I listen to the video, the less and less sorry for him I feel. The more I listen to other people, I sit there and think, right, I've got to look at myself and what I would do. If me and KJ have an internal conversation about the direction of the Terrace and he doesn't like it, and he starts tweeting about it, going in the group chats, telling you guys about it, it doesn't matter whether he's right or wrong from a business principle. He's now wrong for taking a private conversation public. I look at all of these things in that same light. Let's say you and Dan both making content now. You've been friends for years. Let's say you have a falling out. And then you're like, I'm going to expose positive Dan because he's blowing up more than me. And you're like, what I'm going to do is start showing people private text messages and voice notes he sent me a year ago, 2 years ago. It's one of those things where some people are like, oh my God, I can't believe positive Dan said this about Robbie, or positive Dan made this joke about a woman. It's all hypothetical, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I would look at it this way. That's a private conversation you're making public. For me, David, you're the arsehole for taking something private and making it public, even if what positive Dan has said is wrong. I look at these situations like that. For me, Liverpool have to back Slot. And this is where football fans have got to engage their brain and not their emotions. Engage your brain and push through the emotions. United fans did this with Ronaldo. United fans do this all the time. When we have a coach that we don't like, and the players come out and, oh, it's like being trained by a PE teacher. This is why I don't side with the outers ever. I never sit on their side, even if I agree with a singular point. They'll go, yeah, that's it. Let's crash it on the manager. Let's attack the situation aggressively. Let's use all these media reports to try and force him out. Yeah, but you're now setting a precedent, and you're now telling the players that as long as the fan base don't like the manager, we can down tools, we can speak out, we can be unprofessional. And that's one of the reasons we are where we are now after 13 years. I go back to Jose Mourinho. You and I have had this conversation before. A lot of people think he should have been sacked because the football was bad. I disagree. I think the reason I didn't care how the football looked, I thought we were progressing in the first 18 months under him. It all went wrong when the board didn't allow him to get rid of Martial and Pogba. Then all the dressing room started pushing back against him. He loses control. He then becomes toxic. The dressing room becomes toxic and everything collapses. It's all about the ownership here and the board. They must back Slot, not because Slot's more important than Salah or Salah's less important than the manager. It's the position he holds must be protected. And football fans Too many, every one of our clubs, especially my club, Man United, we lose sight of that. And it's because people think about it based on their own experiences in life. And it's, I've never been the boss. Fucking stick it to the man. People love sticking it to the man when they've never been the man, when they've never been the boss. And you've got to think long term. If Salah gets what he wants and the board force Slot to play him, move Slot on, Salah gets to start no matter what, that could start a spiral of events that damages Liverpool in the medium to long term. They must stand, forget Slot the manager, they must stand by the manager. That position must hold a level of power that does not get challenged. There has to be, in sports clubs, there has to be hierarchy. At schools, you cannot have the pupils having a stronger position than the head teacher. You can't, imagine you go to the gyms that you work out. Do you own your gym? You own your gym.
I don't own my gym. No,
okay.
no.
Imagine you get more power than the guy that owns the gym. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. There has to be hierarchy. And the only people that push back against it are sad little men who cannot take that people have more control than them in certain environments. And Liverpool, do not buckle here. Do the right thing to protect your club.
Terry, there's civil wars. There's civil wars in the world for a reason, right? Sometimes there needs to be change and unrest. Sorry to interrupt, Jamie. I've been reading that the players are behind Salah. He could be fronting up to be like, I know this is not right, but he could be fronting up to be like, we need to get rid of this manager. This isn't working. Yeah. And, you know, before Salah came out, all I was hearing was slot out, slot out, slot out. Maybe your legend is doing you a favor, whether it be right or wrong,
David, this is where that element I get. Maybe, again, there are times where, let's just go back to a normal environment. I'm in a bank, I'm the area manager, and people are coming to me and saying, Terry, the manager of this branch is horrible, nasty, turns up late, doesn't do a very good job, demotivates us. That's why we're doing a bad job. That's great. Give me that feedback. We can handle that, and moving that manager on because he's doing a bad job might improve that branch, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that the staff can then start breaking rules and misbehaving at the same time. It's a balance between these two things. Maybe I still think Slot's got to go. I still think he's probably got to go, but they must protect the position. They must protect the position. So
for the next manager,
for the next guy, because next time round, the manager might drop someone who also deserves to be dropped. And the player thinks, well, I've been here 6 years. The fans love me. I've got a lot of power. I'm going to kick up a fuss. I'm only saying this from a fan, that has watched players do this more and more at United in 13 years. And whenever it was done under Fergie, the manager, even when Fergie did things that were wrong sometimes at the club.
Yeah.
And he admitted this when he actually left at this point. But when he told the world that Rooney handed in a second transfer request, about 6 months later, he came out and said, that isn't really what happened. He went, I just misread the situation.
But that wasn't right either.
But this is the
Rooney
point.
under the bus.
Yes, exactly. But this is the point I'm making. But the manager still needs to have control. Even if the manager makes a mistake, you can't weaken the position. Maybe the person gets weakened, but you have to protect the position. Otherwise, you end up where Man United are right now, where in my view, it's anarchy, because I still think players rule the roost at Man United. Yeah. And you never get success when that happens long term. You get the anomalies. You get, again, if Liverpool had all the financial power in England and nobody could get near them, like Bayern Munich in Germany, it wouldn't be an issue. It just wouldn't. England isn't like that. If you're not run very well, if your manager doesn't have power, and if your board let players run the dressing room, in my opinion, you're on the road to ruin over here.
Do you know what it comes down to as well, right? People, obviously, everything Salah's done, he's been there so long, and people have an emotional attachment to Salah more than do Slot. If it was Klopp in this situation, what would people say? They would absolutely stick their minds 100%, stick all their heart, their love, their loyalty to Klopp in that situation.
Rightfully so, though.
Yeah, but rightfully so, because you have an emotional attachment to two people, and then you come down to who's right and who's wrong. If you just take away the rights of the...
Yeah, why have you got that attachment, Jamie? Because they've delivered. Because they've delivered. It's not just happened because you like them.
No, right? But what I'm saying is that that's not what it is. It's you have an emotional attachment to two people, and then you're choosing between right and wrong. What you're doing is now you're placing the emotional attachment of Salah and what he's done over the fact that he's done something wrong, and that holds higher concentration in terms of the way Liverpool are dealing with this situation and how they're going to have to deal with it. It's that's what it comes down to. You can't do that against the club, and he's wrong for doing it.
I don't think Klopp would be in this situation. I don't think Klopp would be struggling like Slot is, right? But I
But
get you. I get you. Right and wrong is right and wrong.
But he did though. In the season after they won the league, they
He dropped
struggled
them out West Ham.
to a similar situation. And yes, you're right. I think Klopp's a better manager overall, but your behavior shouldn't be dictated. So, for instance, I worked with people this whole time, and I stand by it now. If you come and work for me, David, and KJ's your line manager, and he does a bad job managing you, and you're like, oh, I hate the way KJ
he doesn't
talks
like
to
me. I'm telling you already, Terry. He doesn't like me.
He doesn't like me. He don't like he don't like gingers. All this sort of thing,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
For me, I'd be like, cool, I'm going to handle it. But you have purpose. Where are your edits? Where are the edits you're meant to do for us? Oh, I didn't do them because he pissed me off.
Yeah.
For me, and I tweeted about how bad it is to work at the football terrace. You're still losing your job. I'll discipline him. Yeah. I'm still sacking you because I'm protecting the positions. I can't get a new KJ. KJ's almost irreplaceable. But the point is, we're talking hypotheticals. I could get a new manager, but I'm also going to realize as soon as you get a little upset, you're going to be bad for what we're trying to build and do here. You're also gone. And I think football fans, we become really polarized, and what we do is we back a group when actually you've sometimes got to look at this a little more holistically, a little more of a bird's eye view, and go, hang on. Even if Salah's right, even if Slot's been an arsehole, what he's doing is unacceptable.
Exactly.
Yeah. And both things can be wrong at the same time. It does. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo.
I was just about to jump on that.
Well, Ronaldo said things that we all agreed with. This hasn't been improved. There's been no investment here. We agreed with those things, but the way he did it was wrong still. And unprofessional.
Within a year, we've got drone footage of a new training ground. It's all looking fantastic. Right. He caused change. He actually nudged some change.
Well, no, he didn't. Ineos weren't in the club at that point. New owners came in and did that. They weren't there.
But knowing that interview, he was talking about the training ground's a mess. This is a mess. You know.
So you think Ineos bought it and said the first thing we've got to do is improve the training ground? Because Ronaldo did an interview. That is delusion beyond belief.
I believe Ronaldo had a massive impact in that training ground being refurbished. 100%.
He didn't.
He had a massive impact in setting us back another 5 years.
No, I disagree. I just look at it, and maybe it's because of the jobs I've had, the roles I've had, the positions I've had. I'm always quite protective of hierarchies in sporting or business structures in that regard. And I think the hierarchy can be challenged, but we're not talking about politics here where a decision actually, again, directly affects someone's life. I know it does at work as well if you're being mistreated, but we're talking about a professional sense here. I don't think Mo Salah is being asked to scrub toilets with his toothbrush. I don't think he's being sexually harassed. I don't think he's being racially profiled. I don't think he's anything sinister like that regard. We're talking about
7 days. 7 days he hasn't played games in. 7 days, like.
So when it comes often to like someone hating their boss, it's normally because they're a nasty piece of work. Do I think Mo Salah's been mistreated like that? No, he hasn't been picked for the team.
In his mind, sitting on the bench is scrubbing the toilets.
Nah, it's not.
I am telling you, in these high level. Listen, Salah's for me, he's close to that Messi, Ronaldo bracket in terms of what he's achieved for Liverpool, right? And you put these men on the bench, and it's like you've asked them exactly what you just said, Terry, to scrub the toilet.
That's a ridiculous analysis. That's ridiculous. What that does is promotes player power. Because if we start saying that a legend that's waning and playing badly getting dropped is the equivalent of taking your personal toothbrush and scrubbing a skid mark. What you're doing, David, and I can tell you, I guarantee, maybe one of the reasons you become a personal trainer, I believe you're the kind of person who regularly dislikes your boss or people that had authority over you. I think you're someone that kicks back into authority. No, I do. It's not a dig. So, my dad was like this. My dad could never work for people. My dad always pushes back against authority.
I struggle to work for people.
I knew that. I just could tell by the way you're talking, right? I can tell. But that's why you're doing it. Where I'm the other way, when I get a job, unless I'm asked to do something immoral, if my boss says I need you to do this, I go, bang, boss. I go, that's just how I am as a person. Mad as my dad hated working for people, but he forced it into me and my brothers work ethic. And you listen to your coaches, your teachers, your bosses. Even now at 40, if I went home and said, "Oh, Dad, I didn't listen to my boss," he'd clip me around the ear hole still at my age, right? So maybe that's just where I'm different and you're different, and that's fine. There's no issues there. But for me, I always think about the precedent it sets. If we start telling footballers as fans, and the media start repeating it because they always copy us, that Salah being dropped is the equivalent of scrubbing a skid mark with a toothbrush, you are going to create a power.
That's how he feels.
Yes, but you've got but how you feel isn't always reality. We know this in society right now. Just because you feel like a duck, don't mean you're a duck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? How you feel isn't always right, brother. At the end of the day, he's been dropped. What I would want to see from Mo Salah is him go, I'm going to fight even harder to get back into this team. I'm going to support the man who's now in my position. My kids support the team. I love this club. Fight for it then. Don't throw it under the bus.
He's invited his mum to his last game. It's basically what he said, isn't it? I mean, that's what it sounded like. He said he invited his mum to the Brighton game, whether he's playing or not. It's at Anfield. Like, I'm going to wave goodbye. But I don't know what his plan is, you know?
So, just for context, so he's been in this Liverpool team every single year, delivering year after year, year after year. He gets dropped for 7 days. And now he's, after coming out and saying to his mum, okay, mum, come to the game because this is going to be my last game for Liverpool. It is absolutely ridiculous. And to the point about Klopp did drop him at West Ham and they had a fight on the touchline. That was after Liverpool, right? Yeah. So he drops him, and then everyone comes out. Salah is wrong for doing that. You can't do that to a manager. You can't disrespect a manager like that. He's done the exact same thing 100 times worse. And everyone's saying, oh, well, I understand Salah's what he's saying. He shouldn't be dropped. X, Y, and Z. He had one goal in 11 starts up until that, in his last 11 games, up until that game against West Ham when he was first dropped. He wasn't performing. And he does not deserve to be in the team. That's what it boils down to. Like, people saying that everything about before the X, Y, and Z. He just wasn't performing. It's that simple. Like, that's all it's about.
I hear you. But do you know the part I struggle with? The way you guys are surprised that these special players throw their toys out of the pram like this. We've seen it throughout history.
No, not surprised. It's not about being surprised, David. Sorry to interject against you. It's not about being surprised. It's about the response. For instance, again, if I don't give somebody a promotion, I don't expect them to go, oh my God, thank you so much for not promoting me. I expect disappointment. It's about how you handle. For me, it's all about how you handle disappointments and how you move forward from that. And it's the handling of situation. I've got this view on society in general. We have a propensity and a proclivity to defend bad actions when we like the person. So, for instance, we see it in politics all the time, don't you? Right? You'll get. I'm going to go down this avenue. It's my platform. I can do it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but you'll see a person tweet something disgusting and get arrested and sent to prison. Right or wrong, you can debate that in the chat. You'll then see a politician say something similar at a rally and get away with it. And I get people go, hang on a minute. Why are both being treated differently? This is my issue. I like people to be treated fairly, irrespective of their status, their age, their background, whether they've won Liverpool Premier League titles or not. We do it when it comes to players misbehaving, right? So this, for instance, a player does what Luis Suarez did. Liverpool Football Club protected him. You will know for a fact, if that was some bang average 20-year-old academy player that was on his way out, he would have been sacked on the spot. So depending upon who the person is in life, we pick or choose whether we think what they did was right or wrong. It's always the person and not the action more often than not. And I'm just not somebody who supports that. Now, would I attack a friend of mine publicly who's done something wrong? No, I wouldn't. I'd have a private conversation with them. Equally, I don't really tweet about things that people do badly. But I've stopped doing that. I found that hideous because I did it once when a YouTuber did something bad to someone, and then all I got chased for like a year is, why aren't you calling this person out and that person? And I was like, do you know what? You're right. I ain't calling no one out anymore because I ain't got the energy for it. And for me, it's just about, I look at these situations. I get why Salah's angry. I get he may not have been treated very well. I feel sorry for him in that regard because he's a legend and he's got this ego to manage and he's just a brilliant player. But the way he's gone about it, I don't think it helps Liverpool. And maybe Slot loses his job next week and people will go, see, if he hadn't have spoke out, Slot would still be here. I think you're going down a very slippery slope, like Man United, when you start consistently.
Do you know what it is, well?